Since Christmas makes its way into retail stores before Halloween, I figure it's only fair to discuss Halloween Horror Nights in the month of December. Hit the button. Let's get started. Hey there, hi there, ho there, Andrew here, the horror host of Generation X, Y, and Z, with a final judgment review of Halloween Horror Nights number 27 in Orlando. Not really actually a final judgment per se. This is a two-parter after all, so the next video will be the final. This is more of a semi-final. In this video, I will be talking about the scare zones and my overall experience over the 3 Sundays that I spent at Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. The second video will be part 2, obviously, talking about the houses and the shows. Which, when that is uploaded, that will pop up as a card right up there. You can go ahead and click it if you want to go ahead and see the video that has me talking about the houses and the shows. And now that I'm thinking about it, if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead, do so if you want to hear more about Halloween Horror Nights, the history of Halloween Horror Nights, the icons, my life as a scare actor, plus all things horror. And also, you want to tap that bell icon as well. That way you get notified the moment that I upload. Now, talking about the overall experience of this year, I first have to explain how each week went. In the first week, there was a lot of rain. As in, a lot of rain. And this made the entire event for that night suck. And that's putting it mildly, I guess. Is that putting it mildly? I have no idea. But there were other reasons why that night sucked. I was supposed to meet 3 different groups, 3 different parties that night. Didn't meet any of them. That sucks. It did suck. I shouldn't say that it sucks. It sucked. Can I say suck anymore? Yes, I can. Because I was left by myself. And that sucked. Believe me, nobody wants to scare a guy my size who's by himself at Halloween Horror Nights. Not that it would have worked if somebody tried to. But still, it sucked. You see, I say that because when it rains, there's no chainsaw hordes. None, like in this video that I'm showing you right now. It also meant that the Academy of Villains were not performing when I got over to go and see them on the giant metal stage. So this is what you get a chance to see instead of a dance troupe doing their thing. Yeah, people mopping the stage. Riveting, I know. So that sucked. Also, scare zones like Festival of the Deadliest and the Purge, they were supposed to have people up on stages, but they weren't, just for the same reason as Academy of Villains. So that sucked. And to end the suckage of the impression of the first night, I walked through the trick-or-treat scare zone. You can go ahead and play the game I like to call Spot the Scare Actor. And I'm going to give you a hint. There aren't any in the footage. As in zero, nada, zilch. Now, my first HHN that I went to was like 18 years ago. And I have never seen that happen. Ever before. Never. And since it was all rainy, that meant all the lines going to the houses were filled because nobody was really hanging out in the scare zone. So that meant that each house maze was a minimum of 80 minutes long. That isn't something you want to do by yourself. I mean, if you're sandwiched between a couple that's making out and a group of teens that just aren't your clique, 80 minutes feels like a lifetime. Go out and stand into a parking lot by yourself. Don't talk to anybody for 80 minutes. See how much that, what's the word I'm looking for? Sucks. So yeah, I decided to leave, but not before going to the most scariest place of the event. And as far as good things go, I did get a chance to meet Marasha Chance, aka Miss Universal, in the Purge scare zone. And whoever, or is it whomever? Whatever. The person that played Mr. Bagul, is that how you say it? Mr. Boogie, in the Altars of Horror scare zone. You made my night. The night sucked, but man, you got in my face. And I appreciate that. And when I walked away, you went around and got in my face again. I can't remember who you are. I talked to somebody that said they were going to be that character in that scare zone. So if you're watching it right now, watching this video, leave a comment down below. Tell me that it was you. Tell me who you are, because that's going to bug me. And I didn't get a picture of Miss Universal, but I did get pictures with others that I had met through YouTube, like Ian Baldwin and his wife Judy Harper from the UK, plus the 2 girls in the back that wanted my body. I told them they couldn't have it because I already donated my body to science. Fiction. But I also ran into and got pictures with Dakota in the Invasion Scare Zone and Luke in the Festival of the Deadliest Scare Zone. There were a lot of other people that I got a chance to meet and say hi to, talk for a moment, but didn't get a chance to take a picture with, which was a shame. But you might have seen a couple of the same faces in the photos that I just showed. 2 of them are my scare acting buddies. One is Tony Edge, the other one is Paul Sherwin. And the 3rd person that is in there, it's my current boss. His name's Tom Degenhart. Now, why does that name sound familiar? I would like to thank Tom Degenhart for giving me this film to go ahead and review. That's right, he was the one that gave me the Creepshow movie to review. And if you haven't seen that, go ahead and click the card right above there. That will take you straight to the review recap react of Creepshow. I have to say, arguably one of the best horror anthologies ever made. Overall, my experience went from major suckage to a pretty good time in the course of the 3 weeks. Enough about that. Let's get into the Scare Zone review and rankings. Number 5 for the Scare Zones is Altars of Horror. Thought this was gonna be bad, and unfortunately I was right. I went through this Scare Zone at least 12 to 15 times, and it just didn't work for me. It was like scare actors standing right out in a crowd with nothing to hide in or come out of, and it was just them getting their pictures taken with a whole bunch of guests. The Scare Zone basically should have been called Stand in Line and Get Your Picture Taken with the Shining Twins. I mean, there was no overall theme of the zone other than it was characters from the houses. It just really felt like people in good cosplay that were standing there getting their pictures taken. It wasn't scary. More chaotic than anything else. 4th on the Scare Zone list is Invasion, or since there's an exclamation point behind it, I should say Invasion! And this was a letdown as Scare Zones go, probably because I built it up so great in my head. The Scare Zone felt small. None of the aliens really interacted with anybody because they couldn't talk. I mean, they were wearing a full head latex mask, so not really any way to interact with anybody other than stare and look menacing. Only humans could say anything in the Scare Zone, and they were the victims, so they really were saying things like, "Save yourselves!" unless they were getting excited and they went, "Chimichanga!" for some apparent reason. It made me feel a little strange, and not in a good way, like when you climb the rope up in gym class. They still climb a rope up in gym class? Do they still have gym class? 3rd on the list of the Scare Zones is Festival of the Deadliest, and this is where things get a little bit average. Felt like the story in this Scare Zone was lost. It was basically demon-looking ladies dancing like go-go dancers while other scare actors scared you from the side. Like I said, it just felt like the story was lost to the average guest. I mean, you can't blame it being an original property. Last year, Vamp 55 was there, and they were an original property in the same location. But when you got there, you knew it was a homecoming party that was crashed by vampires. And this is a party, too, that is apparently crashed by themselves. And just didn't make any sense. Number 2 on the list goes to The Purge, and I really thought that The Purge was going to end up like number 2, as in doggy doo. I felt like this intellectual property might be getting a little old, but the scare actors in this Scare Zone put the scare in Scare Zone. Way to go, everybody. I saw people running all over the place trying to get away from those that had the urge to purge, so to speak, and the costumes were good. The vehicles going in and out gave the Scare Zone a much bigger feel, all in all, and I was happy with the Scare Zone. And I love the chipper machine, which reminded me of the Canadian Reapers in the house that I was in, run Blood, Sweat, and Fears back in Halloween Horror Nights number 25. Plus, I had a few purgers come up to me and either call me out by name or say, "I saw you on YouTube." I have to say, I love hearing that. I think that is so great. And with only one Scare Zone left, that means it takes the top spot of Scare Zones, which is Trick or Treat. This zone rocked. I got a chance to see some people in action that were some of my co-scare actors in the past, and I hope you guys know how much I miss you. Trick or Treat did the intellectual property right, and the actors played their roles perfectly. The pumpkin decorations that were lit up were beautiful, and all in all, it was a great zone to go through. Not much of a scare zone per se, but a great zone in itself. And with that, leave a comment down below. Tell me what was your favorite scare zone and what order you have them in as well. And see this video right here? Yeah, I left that just for you. And if you want to catch up on my latest video, go ahead and click the one down there. And if you want to support the channel, click the link below. And I will see you in the next video.